Hello and welcome to my latest video on Jurassic World Alive. Before I get into today's video, it would really help this channel if you could subscribe and also click the notification bell. If you enjoy this video, then please click on the like button. Today's video we're going to focus on Hadros Lux and specifically the battle strategies for some of the most common opponents that you're going to face. So if you want to find out ways of beating the likes of Ardentismaxima or Sarcorixis, Mortem Rex, the mighty Thor, or even taking Tenontorex down by only taking one hit, then this is definitely the video for you. In each segment I will show you details of the attributes of each opponent, followed by the gameplay of the battle so you can see the exchanges involved. As usual, I have included chapter points so you can skip to the specific video segment that interests you. These chapters are listed in the description below. Okay, so that's the introductions done, let's get on with the video. Just so you can put the context of my Hadros Lux into these battle opponents. So it's level 26, so obviously the base level for an apex creature. I've got 10 boosts on health and 15 boosts on damage, none on speed. So that gives me a health of 6,375 and damage of 2,062. So going through its abilities, resilient strike, obviously it's removing dodge, cloak and speed increases, reduces speed of the opponent by 50% for one turn, and gives her 2,062 attack. Rampage, which has got no delay on it, so off the bat I can give 4,124 damage to the opponent. And then onto Greater Emergency Heal, that will give me 4,124 health points, so that matches the attack or the damage figure. So building up that damage attribute for Hadros Lux does a double benefit. It gives us obviously the damage, but also gives us the amount of heal. So it's very much like Thoradolosaur in that respect. And then we've got Resilient Rampage, which has got a delay of 1, again giving double damage, 4,124 hit points for my Hadros Lux. And then there's a passive attribute, which is the medium resilient counterattack, and this gives half damage, so in this case 1,031, but actually really importantly it gives a reduced speed of 50% for one turn. So whenever there's a counter attack by Hadros Lux, it will reduce the speed of the opponent by 50% if they haven't got that as a resistance. So that's really valuable, as you'll see in the battles ahead. So in terms of resistances, 50% resistance to distraction. It can't have its speed decrease, which is really valuable. It can't be stunned, so I think that's really valuable for creatures like Sarcorixis. That has that very much as its strategy, and also we've got it's 100% resistant to being vulnerable, cannot be made vulnerable. So that's a good attribute to have. So, but for me, I think it's the stun resistance and the speed decrease and the distraction resistances that are really valuable for Hadros Lux. We start off with Ardentismaxima, and we have one at level 30. In terms of boosts, we've got 13 boosts on health, 14 on damage. Don't know about speed, but suspect it might be 3, but it doesn't really matter for this particular demonstration. So that gives health of 9,180, damage of 1969. So that's confirmed. As I said, speed's probably a bit of a guess from me, given that there's only 3 boosts left to utilise following the health and damage. So in terms of abilities, we've got Resilient Strike, giving damage of 1969. We've also got that kind of reduced speed 50% for one turn, and remove dodge, cloak and speed increase. Secondly, we've got Group Decelerating Rampage. This is quite often the lead move for Ardentismaxima, because you've got that ×2 damage and this 3,938 hit points, and you've also got that reduced speed by 50% for 2 turns, which obviously is very useful for Ardentismaxima, but obviously not against Hadros Lux because you can't reduce its speed. And then you've got the big hitting taunt shattering rampage. So again, this gives is a double attack, 3,938, and obviously removes shields, but again that doesn't it's not applicable here. And then we've got the instant invincibility taunt, giving 100% shields for 2 attacks lasting 1 turn, and there's a delay on that one, as is the taunt shattering rampage. In terms of resistances, there is a long list of resistances. 50% crit reduction. We've got 100% speed decrease, so it can't have its speed decreased. 100% against stun. 100% for swap prevention. 100% taunt, and 100% vulnerable. A lot of these don't really apply for Hadros Lux. So let's get on with the battle and see how it gets on. Next we have Tenontorex, and again it's a level 30. In terms of health boosts, it's got 12 health boosts and 15 damage boosts. Again, we don't know what the speed boosts are, but it doesn't really matter. Tenontorex has a base of 109, which is above the 108 of Hadros Lux anyway, and I've not boosted my speed at all for Hadros Lux. So that gives the Tenontorex a health of 7,110 and a damage of 3,175. So moving on to the actual abilities, so we've got Resilient Strike, single attack for 3,175. We've got the Lesser Group Heal, again 3,175 health points there, and then we've got the delay ability, Defense Shattering Rampage, which gives that ×2 damage of 6,350, which is interestingly, that is just 25 hit points short of the Hadros Lux max, or my Hadros Lux max anyway, which is 6,375. And then finally we've got the Distracting Impact, given 1.5 attack of 4,763. So in terms of resistances, 67% stun, which isn't applicable for Hadros. 67% swap prevention, again not applicable for Hadros, and 100% vulnerable, again doesn't really apply for Hadros Lux. So let's see how it Tenontorex gets on against Hadros Lux. Next up is a level 30 Monolometrodon. This is a very popular creature in the battle arena. It has 8 health boosts, giving a total health of 6,126, and 9 boosts against damage, giving a base of 2,084. It has a base speed of 125, so 1 in advance of Hadros' 108. In terms of abilities, we have a single attack for defense shattering strike of 2084, nullifying strike of 2084, again a single attack value there. We have the distracting impact, giving a 1.5 times attack of 3126, and then finally we've got the delayed attack of Fierce Rampage, giving a 2 times attack of a mighty 4168 hit there in terms of damage. Okay, on to resistances. There's a long list. We've got 50% crit reduction, we've got 100% damage over time, which doesn't apply here. We've got 50% distraction, we've got 75% rending, which doesn't apply here. 100% speed decrease, so that does apply here. So Hadros' counter attack does do a 50% speed reduction, so obviously that won't apply here, so Monolometrodon will continue to get those first hits in. 100% resistance to stun, 75% sort of prevention, and 100% vulnerable. So so there you are. So let's see how this one goes. Okay, next up is the Mighty Thor, level 30 as ever. For this one we have 3 boosts on health, we have a massive 18 boosts on damage, and probably 9 on speed, but we just don't know. So that gives us a health overall of 5879 and damage 2996, so just 4 short of 3000 damage for a single attack. So in terms of how that translates into its abilities, you've got Fierce Strike, which is a single attack of that 2996 damage. We've got Fierce Impact, giving 1.5 attack, giving a net result of 4494 damage. That's absolutely massive for a first, probably the first move. And then we've got the Group Shattering Rampage, which is delayed by 1 move, giving a double attack of 5992. Absolutely massive. And we've also got that Instant Charge, giving a 75% chance to stun, giving a single attack value of 2996 damage. And as I said, that one is delayed by 1 move. And then on to resistances. None of these really apply, or they don't apply. Damage over time 50%, swap prevention 100%, and vulnerable 100%. And I have to say, this is the closest of all the battles, but keeping in mind that Thor has got 18 boosts on damage, I think that's a really good reflection on Hadros Lux. But anyway, let's watch the battle. now we have Sarcorixis, again level 30. It has 8 boosts on health and 10 on damage. Again, we don't know what the speed boosts are, but it's going to be faster than Hadros Lux, which is only 108. So anyway, this gives a overall health of 6,126 and a base damage of 1,975. So in terms of abilities, it's got Resilient Strike, giving a single attack of 1,975. It has a Greater Stunning Strike, again a single attack of 1,975. It's got its Priority Immobilize, giving 100% stun chance, but obviously Hadros is resistant to stun, so both that one and the Greater Stunning Strike are going to have no impact on Hadros Lux from a stun perspective. Ferocious Impact, we have a double attack, sorry not double, 2.25 attack, giving a massive 4,444 attack. Okay, and again, well not again, but at the bottom there we've got no escape, target escapee cannot swap out, but I think Hadros is too much of a beast to retreat and won't want to escape anyway. In terms of resistances, speed decrease 100%, so this is very pertinent here because obviously Hadros's counter attack does have a 50% speed decrease, so Sarco is going to be resistant to that, so we'll always get the first hit in, so that's very relevant. And then we've got 100% vulnerable, which doesn't apply in this case. So let's see how Hadros gets on against the great and mighty Sarco. Last but not least, we have Apex versus Apex with Mortem Rex coming up against Hadros Lux. So this Mortem is a base level 26. It has 2 boosts on health, giving a total of 4,725 health. It has 4 damage boosts, giving a base damage of 2,200. So that translates in terms of abilities. It's raw. Has a base as a single attack of 2,200. It has a Fierce Impact, which is 1.5 attack, giving 3,300 damage. We've got the delayed for a single move Fierce Rampage, giving a double attack 4,400, and we've got the Cleansing Impact, giving a 1.5 attack at 3,300. So lots of damage, as you can probably guess. In terms of resistances, quite a long list really. 50% damage over time, not applicable obviously. Can't have its speed decrease, so it's 100% resistant to speed decrease, which is very applicable here. It's 75% resistant to stun, which doesn't apply here. Swap prevention, 75% resistance, doesn't apply, and 50% resistance to vulnerability, again, doesn't apply. So the only one that really applies here is the speed decrease. So Mortem Rex will retain that kind of first move each time. Okay, so let's see how he gets on against Hadros Lux. Thank you very much for watching my video. I hope you enjoyed it or found it informative. Please do provide any feedback in the description below. I always respond to comments, so please feel free to add your comments, feedback or suggestions. Okay, until next time, this is Alien Newt.